I feel like I'm about to give a presentation. Hello, I'm Sarai, aka Sapphic Knits, and I'm here with some tips. Hey, you wanna come? Come on, you wanna come? You're allowed, it's okay. She wants to be pet. She saw I was in the middle of talking and she was like, I want to be a part. Here, you can go. You want to go? Hi. Okay, bye-bye. If you've ever felt like you were kind of at a block with your knitting or crochet progress, I am here with 3 tips to help you break out of that and to develop your skills from a beginner level to an expert level. When I was a beginner for both knitting and crochet, I really kind of built it up to be so much harder than it really was. I've synthesized them into 3 main things that have helped me personally to progress, to be able to make things originally, and to be able to just create things with less doubt and just be more like assertive. Hopefully this is helpful for you too. Tip number 1. Follow tutorials. This is like the beginner level. I feel like everyone when they start off is looking for a tutorial. They're like, I know what I want to make, or sometimes you don't know what you want to make, but I want very clear instructions on how to make that thing. If you are looking to make literally anything, there's probably a free tutorial that exists, whether it be on YouTube, Ravelry. Ravelry has all everything, literally anything you can think of, it's on Ravelry. Ribbler is a good one, and even Pinterest. I also think that tutorials are a really good way to start because they help you to figure out what your learning style is. Some beginners find written patterns to be hard because you have to learn certain abbreviations, so that's not for everyone, but on the other hand, there are also videos, and videos also really help if you're learning a new stitch or a new technique and you want to see it being done physically so you know that you're doing it right. Then even charts. I find that Pinterest is a great place to find charts, and I'm not the best at reading charts, but you can find the craziest things like the diagrams for how to crochet a seahorse, just crazy stuff. And if you know how to read charts or symbols with crochet or knitting, then honestly, that could be a really good way to go, and it's free. Pro tip, because this really pisses me off. When you are scrolling through Etsy and you find a vintage pattern and you think to yourself, wow, this is so cool, I'm gonna drop $2 to $3 to get this vintage pattern. Hold up, stop yourself. Press pause, because 9 times out of 10, that pattern exists somewhere else for free, and it is likely that because it is a vintage pattern that the original publisher has it somewhere online for free. Of course, this is not always the case, but in most cases I have found that people just find a vintage pattern and sell it when it exists in the Wayback Machine, or it exists on a blog, or it exists on the original pattern maker's webpage, something like that. You can probably find it. I recommend looking it up just to be sure, because also sometimes the people who are selling them don't actually own those patterns anyway, so I think you're just better off looking for it if it's a vintage pattern specifically. And lastly, when it comes to tutorials, another great thing is following the major crochet and knitting creators, because on occasion they will release quick little tutorials for really simple projects for free. Tip number 2, participate in tests. Some people think that as a beginner or even an intermediate that they won't be chosen for a test. It really just depends on the project, and some projects are geared towards beginners, and so creators will often choose beginners or smaller accounts to participate. My first ever test knit was the Duck Vest by Made in the Moment, and it was so fun. I was a pretty small page at the time. I don't think I had much on my Instagram, but I was selected, and the testing process was so much less intimidating than I thought. It was honestly super fun. I made some mistakes. It's not even perfect, but it was really fun to do, and I feel very lucky that such a big creator and someone that I really respect was willing to give me a chance. And honestly, you miss 100% of the You miss 100% of the chances you don't take. You know what I mean. But my point is, apply, you never know. Creators might see something in you that you don't see in yourself. The point being, you never know what exactly they're looking for, and it just might be you. If you're looking to be in a community with other crocheters or knitters, it's also a good way to gain exposure, just so that being part of the test means more people will see your page, especially if the person who's hosting the test is a larger creator. So you meet new friends, if you own a business, new customers. It's just like a great way to kind of get yourself out there. Even if you don't have a page, you're just a normal person, a test is a great way to learn new techniques, because 9 times out of 10 that creator is either coming up with a new technique for something or a new design, like a new take on an old design. An alternative to a bona fide test would be a knit along. I've never participated in a knit along, but I've seen a lot of them online on spaces like Ravelry, YouTube, and probably Facebook. Honestly, I feel like a lot of knit alongs are probably on Facebook as well. So point being, there are a lot of different places to find them, and they're free. The whole point is we are all knitting or crocheting this thing together, and sometimes it's an extra layer because it's a secret what you're making, but look out for them. They're very interesting and a cool way to meet new people as well. Baby. Hey, baby, what are you doing? She's like sniffing the camera, and I'm like, if you knock it over, we're gonna have issues, man. Hey, sniffing everything, huh? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Why are you staring at me? I love my cat so much. Tip number 3, reverse engineer a product. This, I would say, is the final boss of improving your knitting or crochet practice. Being able to look at something, to study it, to understand how it was made, and to think of your own way that you can create it is not only super rewarding, but also just a real test of your skills. I find that it's also, depending on the project, because if you knit or crochet, you know how expensive it can be, but depending on what the project is, you can also potentially save money, especially if you're trying to duplicate a designer item or combat fast fashion. So creating something that you know is probably not made ethically and just making it yourself. Some examples of people reverse engineering projects include the Harry Styles cardigan that was popular like 3 years ago, the Taylor Swift folklore cardigan, as well as the probably not ethically made Taylor Swift granny stitch dress that everyone was making, partially because they wanted the dress, but also because, you know, commentary on how her dress was probably not made ethically. So my all-time favorite creator who does this and has basically made it an art, in my opinion, is Jade. Love Jade down. I watch like every Jade video, and some of them are recreations, some of them are not, but I find that the art of recreating is really synthesized well in her videos. Obviously, you don't have to make something super complicated. I feel like it's almost an art how complicated some of her projects are, but I really think that the ethos of finding something you love and wanting to create it yourself is just summed up so well in her content. So shout out to Jade, love Jade down. So those are all my tips. Quick recap: follow tutorials, participate in tests, and reverse engineer a product. I ranked them roughly in terms of easiest to hardest. So hopefully when you follow those steps, you can progress not only in your skill set, but also in your confidence to make your own things. And honestly, it is so fun. Don't let it be a chore. This is a hobby, and it's something that we do for fun and because we're little nerds. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, of those 3 tips, you got something that was useful and helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye! I got you. I got you. I got you. Anyway,